Alright, this is Kelly Scott's biweekly maintenance in August. I believe it's the 9th. Aubrey's going to run to the end of the driveway and we're going to do a brief 10-minute session back there so that we get a little something going on at that garden bed. But for here, we did an intense weed and rake with the heavy rake. Really got that dense, dry soil kind of aerated. Did our best. Lots of mullein popping up too, beautiful wildflowers, some pruning and deadheading, just a little bit, but mostly weeding and raking. Over here, same thing, got all these beds taken care of. Got underneath the tree rings as well, pulled out lots of weeds and grasses. This is looking so fluffy and phenomenal. Yep, same thing over here. Gonna do some deadheading next time, as there's still a majority in bloom on those bushes. These guys are looking so vibrant. And down the steps. Nothing alarming, just more weeding, raking, fluffing the soil. Super rich back here. Definitely can tell the planters are growing towards the sunlight, but they're doing pretty great. Just deadheaded and trimmed back a little bit of the Swedish ivy and tried to floof it in where it was sparse. Same thing over here. And then for these planters, really almost out of creeping Jenny for this one. It's looking really sad and crispy. The heuchera is doing great, but this is also sad and crispy and also just not doing super good, but at least we have that pop of lime green in the middle of each side. Just a consideration for the lower left one, perhaps. All right, and I'm gonna run to the back. Yep, weeded under here as well. And raked and fluffed. It's a lot of raking and fluffing today. Got out the major weeds, and there were some thistles starting to grow in here too, as well as some grasses, but we didn't get to these grasses right here. So perhaps next time, if we have a time, we can get to the sides. The lamia is coming in really nicely. Got all of this weeded out as well with a light rake. I want to get down there so we can see a little better. Yeah, just definitely more full. It's looking quite nice, and the pop of red is nice as well. Even got down here today, just gave it a nice rake and weeded the side. Alrighty, and okay. Yep, there's another view of it. I had to wash out some of this bird poop that happened. Fluffed and raked this bed, fluffed and raked this bed, and weeded it too. There are definitely some weeds. In here, we were able to water for a solid 15 minutes for all of our new plants and the pre-existing ones, but mainly the apple trees, the dogwoods, and the grasses that are looking really dry over here. We can tell there's definitely some of the vinca not really making it, but some of it's doing pretty well. It's just right around here, nearly dead. Lots of weeding because that bird seed that was left out for the turkeys was directly on the ground, and it ended up sprouting into some very dense grasses that we then had to pull. So just being mindful. I don't know if that was us or Kelly, but it was kind of silly. Right over here, the dogwoods look like they're doing all right. The back two are definitely doing all right. I know this one was suffering the most, but it's starting to come back. We gave another solid 15-minute water over here, some weeding and raking. Not too much had to be weeded out. It was quite nice, but gonna let the dogwoods grow a little bit more before we consider pruning them, since they're super established. Down here, same thing, not too much going on. These planters are still really wet. They're pretty soaked and drying out a little bit. Like the plants are crisping up, but the soil is very wet. Same thing over here. So not sure how we want to approach those, but that is what we've got going on. And then we also took out all of the weeds and grasses from the side. Staircase is pretty nicely carved out already, but we did a little bit more touching up. Over here, took out some morning glory, got in here, took out the dead underneath the hollyhock, I believe that is. I guess perhaps two different varieties. Started to try to cut out this lovely blue tiny grass so that we can see it a little more. Carved out this staircase, weeded as well. Here's another view up here of all the different colors, and tidied up this edge as well. We spent a lot of time back here on this wall before, so today we did not prioritize that, but it gave a good once over to these planters and the surrounding beds. Looking pretty great. I know we hit this last time. There were just a couple weeds growing in the mulch. All of these plants are looking so healthy. Uncertain this one. Could be a piece of corn, could be a flower. Have to find out. Yep. More plants and lovely flowers and yarrow and things. Next time we could get down here, because we actually weeded all the way through here as well. But this lower level, we could get into this next time and really pull out more grasses and perhaps be done with pulling grasses for another couple weeks. Did a light rake and weed back here as well. I took out some flowers that were bloop, straight on the floor, sideways and half dying. Alrighty, I think that is all for today then. I'm going to go meet Aubrey up at the end of the driveway and do a couple touch-ups up there.